Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about Employment Hero HR, and in particular how to get it set up from the very beginning, because in my opinion that's where the biggest stumbling block always appears. It's getting new software, implement it and rolling out the team. So we're going to be talking about that today, exactly how we did it at Boffix and how you guys can do it as well. Stay tuned. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer, fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning, 8:30 AM for Ask the Accountant, sponsored by Employment Hero nonetheless. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how we're going to get yourself set up on Employment Hero, and I promise you it's dead straightforward. In fact, I'll go as far as to say it's one of the best softwares I've ever found for onboarding you and getting yourself into play, because a lot of what we're going to be looking at and a lot of what you gain majorly from Employment Hero HR's platform is that interaction with your staff. And the only way you can really have that interaction is by making sure that everything's there ready for when you invite them. If you invite them to a portal and there's nothing there for them to do, well, they're going to lose interest in that very, very quickly. But if you invite them to a portal where they've got loads of interactions on there and there's lots for them to look at, lots for them to plan, and lots for them to put into play, that's when you'll find it really, really interesting. So let's jump straight in. Let's figure out exactly how we implemented it, and I'll show you and talk you through some of those really key aspects as well. Let's have a look. All right, well, first of all, we are on our main page just here. Now, this main page here is your dashboard. It's going to tell me important things. So I've got action items for myself. I've got performance reviews to look at and certifications that have gone and expired at this point in time. So I need to deal with them. So that's just really letting me know what's happening. If I was an employee, I'd be able to see my pay slips here. I'll see what tasks maybe I have. I've got told here that I've got some employee onboarding still to do. So basically the dashboard's brilliant, and it's just like any other dashboard out there. What is fancy about this one though is, yes, I have a management dashboard, which again gives me information so I can let me know if I need to do any leave requests, any certifications, performance reviews, expenses to approve, all that sort of stuff's going to be put there. And then as I start really throwing this out there to the rest of the team, I'm going to start seeing a lot more of this sort of information and this sort of progress going through as well. But then the next one, this is your feature setup. And for me, this is where Employment Hero really went above and beyond in terms of that onboarding process. Because what you have here in front of me now is a whole set of information for me to go through and checklist for me making sure I've got it set up exactly right. And what I like about this is, A, it's giving me completed signs at the moment because I've gone through and done this for Boffix already. But B, if I'd click on any of these, and I went through the actual process of it, so I've got a couple left ready to do, like managing timesheets, for example, then what will happen is, first and foremost, it will tell me what it is I have to do. I press next, and it'll go through the stages. I press start. But then what will happen is you get a guided tour of it going through. So here it's telling me, click on my settings to get to there, then go into company settings and go from there. And basically it's going to go through and it's going to put that information in there and tell me exactly where I should be clicking, and what I need to do to start going through this process. And what also happens, if I just come out of this one, what also happens I find really, really impressive about this feature setup is if you complete most of these setups and you actually go through and complete them, and like I have now in a set where you've pretty much done absolutely everything you can, watch the reviews, looked at what the estimated timing is, and basically set everything up ready for you to bring in your employees into Employment Hero, then you actually get a reward from Employment Hero themselves. Now, depending on what's offered on at the time, I was actually given an opportunity to take off some of the money that I paid up front for my implementation fee. That bit has all been accounted for. I'm now in a bit better financial position, so it's win-win all round. Now, once I've gone through and set everything up, as you can see here, it's asking me to go through my onboarding a new employee, prepare paperless templates, start recruiting and use an integrated application tracking system. It's going to go through there and go through all this information. In fact, it's going to go through various options for you. It's going to go protection, growth, automation, and engagement. And you're going to go through each of those levels and complete them. Now, yes, this is quite a time exercise to get them set up, but it's the right thing to do. And the fact that it's hold your hand through it all, then for me was well worthwhile. I would say for my practice, I spent about 2 evenings just going through completing these as we went along. I wasn't rushing my way through them. I suppose if I'd really wanted to get this out sooner, I could have easily have pushed this even quicker. But I wanted to just go through, make sure I was happy with them. Things like lead management and things like that. I wanted to make sure that the balances were correct for all our employees. I wanted to make sure that they were going to get a good experience as they came through. So I was spending more time than I probably need to. But overall, I feel like the actual holding my hands and going through this checklist meant that at every point, I knew what step I was at and how long I had to go to get things completed. Now, there's some bits that I really would recommend. For me, I think that the most important things is just making sure this compliance area and policies all up to date. Now, you'll see here we've put in some policies. Now, we've got policies that are our own that we've brought into play. And then we've got policies that we've taken from the template guide within Employment Hero. And we've actually scrapped our old policies and implemented these new ones because we felt like it was time to have an update to them, time to make sure that they were exactly how we needed them to be. But they're super simple. So if I wanted to manage policies here and add a template, I can either go through and find one. I know I've searched to the UK templates, or just find these down here. You'll see there's loads ready to go. For example, the annual leave policy. If I preview that one just now, it's going to give me a policy that I can then choose the template, and I can go through, once I've completed the disclaimer, and I can go through adding all the details they're asking me. So I can use their templates to bring them in. As soon as I've got that template live and publish it, then I can set it to, well, do I want all my employees to actually have to go through it? Do I need my contractors to actually sign it as well? And I can also make sure that I'm being pushed to told when that's actually coming through. If though I actually need to upload one of my own, I can just do that here. Click on there, upload it, and it'll be stored on Employment Hero. And then I can set the same parameters of who needs to sign it, when they need to sign it for, and I can go through those elements as well. So basically, I get best of both worlds for making sure my policy management is all up to date. And for me, we went from having a Teams folder where we'd just put all of our policies in there, and periodically I would just use to send out a little Google form saying, have you completed all these policies, yes or no, and put a tick mark next to each one, to now that I've got them all here. And what that does mean as well is now I'm in control of this. I'm the one who can say, right, yeah, I need that to go through. I want this to be looked at in more detail, and I can make sure that that's all being pushed through. And here's the example of being saying that is this policy mandatory and who's it available. And as soon as I press publish, everyone in my team now knows about having to look at this policy, and they've got to agree it to be able to continue to work for me. The other bit that I spent quite a bit of time on, and I think was really important to look at, is going through your employee review option. Now, this is all about appraisals and everything else. If I go into a previous quarter, you can see that I've got all of my employees sat there. I can jump into an employee and it can tell me all of the goals and elements that have been set for them, and they can go through and complete that for me. What I like about this is that you have full customization of it as well. So if I go to settings, and what I like best of all about this is how easy it is to just customize. So here we had a general one that was recommended for us, but then we've created based on our ICAW standards, because we're an accountancy firm, so we have different standards we need to complete. But ultimately, it just feels like just doing a Google form. So I'm basically going through and I can edit these, I can add new elements to it, I can add new questions to it. I can basically build my appraisal process for my employees exactly how I need to do it. And the final bit really for us is about how do we make sure that we get our team involved in this and invested in using this solution. Because just from having our compliance now in an automated process is a game changer for us. It means we're going to get this right. Just making sure that number two, that we can have our appraisal process in a much more linear and much more process manner, an automated manner, again, is an absolute win for us. But how do we get our team involved? Well, for us, we, as you can tell, really do like a good old video here and there. And that's where you can make sure that when you onboard your staff and your staff do get brought in, you can set video parameters for them so they can watch a video of, right, why are we using this? What have we got to get out of this? What is that employee's responsibility using Employment Hero going forward? And that's where we can do that all within the onboarding process. So for me, that's where the benefit of this solution to others come in, because instead of me having to take all my team away and having to do a big training session with them, having to go through each and every aspect with them and everything else, well, I can just invite them. They can have an onboarding session, and on that onboarding session, they can go through their own pace and go through what they need to do. And then parts of it are completely irrelevant to them at this point in time. They can ignore that and come back to it later. For example, they may have no need at all at this point to do any leave management. They may not need to book any holidays or anything like that. So they may completely ignore that for now. But I know that when they come back to Employment Hero, they'll go back to that same place they've just been to, and we'll have a little video at some point about, right, how do you book some time in? What's the best way to do this? How do we use the app to help you actually do that better? And I feel like then giving it them at their own pace, not having to just bombard them with them all at the beginning, just helps them make sure that they're going to be using this software, not just now, but into the future. And they're going to get more invested in using the software because they're not going to feel like this is a massive change to them, but they're going to have the opportunity to be able to add in and come into this area at their own pace and be able to make sure they're using it as they need to. So how else have we implemented it at Buffix? Well, first of all, we've stopped using the old payroll portal for their pay slips and everything else. So what that means is that they need to now go into their HR platform to get their pay slips. And I think that's really powerful, because at least once a month, they're going to be going into the HR platform without me having to do anything to prompt them to go there. They're going to be going there to look at their pay slips, to understand what's going on in their pay. So that means that you're encouraging your staff to go into your HR play area more often. And my idea is that the more opportunity, the more touch points you have with the platform, the more likely they're going to come back inherently there. And that means they're going to start using it for all it's worth. We've also started bringing in the opportunity to make sure that people can do 360 reviews to one another. And that's really going to help our appraisal process. Before, we used to use kind of softly encourage people to try and get 360 reviews from maybe their peers or from their managers or whoever. But this time round, this is almost forcing them to do it, and I think that's really powerful. It's making them have conversations they may not have normally have had. And that's going to help us when it comes to appraisal. It's going to help us be able to look at that employee and understand where pain points might be and where issues might be arriving. Whereas before, we wouldn't have had access to that data. So I'm really looking forward to kind of forcing them into that and looking into it, because I think for them, it's going to be much better for their personal development. And there we have it. That's how we've started implementing it. We literally decided that we were going to move over to Employment Hero, and within a month it was all done, dusted and moved over. And we've got a video coming up very soon about how our employees have been affected by Employment Hero, and I think it's well worth you making sure you subscribe to the channel to see how they've seen it. Because yes, me and Johann have been talking how it's been really affecting our practice and how we are getting much better, because ultimately for us it means we've had less admin to worry about, and we're getting a better opportunity to be able to work with our staff and with that opportunity to develop our staff, which is what it's all about. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they feel like. How has Employment Hero helped their pain points within the business? You know, something as simple as booking annual holiday shouldn't be a very difficult step. And I feel like Employment Hero is just helping us make sure that that's all done in a much better place. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you impressed with what Employment Hero looks like so far? Would you implement it for your practice? For us, the reason we're going through this pace now, going through the pain, because for us, what we're making sure is that when we start issuing this software solution out to our clients, we want to be able to make sure that we're experts in actually implementing it ourselves, so that then we can have conversations with our staff, we can understand what their pain points might be. And I feel like that's going to be really important. So I urge you, if you are looking to implement this for your clients, and it's a great way to be able to add value to your payroll, so why wouldn't you? Then make sure you're implementing it in your practice first. Go through some of the pain points, go through some of the opportunities, understand the warts and all about what the solution gives, because that means then when it comes to you being able to talk to your clients and understand what their problems are, and when you can actually understand a bit of business advisory on what it is that you're helping the clients with, if you've had a play around it yourself, you're in a much better position to do that. So use the links below, go get yourself an Employment Hero login, and go start seeing exactly what benefits it can bring to your practice. For more tips and tricks and everything else in between about everything we've talked about today, you're already in the right place. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you give ourselves a thumbs up, and let us know in the comments below if there's any other areas within Employment Hero, or employment payroll that you want us to look at in any more detail. My name's been Aaron Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.